Hello and welcome to the first Staffordshire Roleplay Fleet Tour. I'm Chief Constable Walker. Today I'm joined by Central Firearms Unit Police Constable Pope. Say hello.
Hello.
Josh is going to be helping me. As part of it, Josh is one of our media team officers. He's going to be helping us obviously look around the fleet, answer any questions that people have asked to the Twitter and submitted to us via Discord. And give you a bit more of an insight to Staffordshire Roleplay. Today we're going to be looking at the emergency policing fleet. So emergency policing is obviously it's what we've branded it to. It composes our response policing and our neighbourhoods policing team. Typically when you join Staffordshire Roleplay, after you've applied and you've been accepted, if you've applied for a policing career, you'll go into neighbourhood policing as a student. Once you join neighbourhood policing, you'll then do the process from there is you meet your trainers, you meet the sergeant and the inspector most likely. You'll then do your module 1 training, which is what we call as our self-learning document. So you'll be given 48 hours to go away and to have a look at that, to watch some videos. It will give you a guide to all the basics of policing, everything from communications to dealing with suspects. You'll then go on and do a practical side, which is your module 2. Once you've done that, you'll then go out operationally for 3 shifts with one of our trainers. I'm right in saying that, Josh, you are one of our trainers, yes?
Yes, correct. Yes.
So you may end up going out, obviously with Josh in response. You'll then do 3 patrols. You will finish various competencies, so you'll complete various competencies as your trainer. You'll then get your response driver ticket, and once again you'll have a response theory part, which is 48 hours. Then you'll do your response practical. Once you've done that, you'll do 2 independent patrols. Then obviously an assessment will be made whilst you're in your independent phase by the training team. They'll file a report then to the inspector, and then the inspector will overlook all of your portfolio and they will make the decision of whether you are fit to be independent. If you're deemed fit to be independent, what will then happen is you'll get an email from the inspector and you'll have a meeting with your sergeant to congratulate you. You'll be promoted then to police constable and you'll be transferred out of neighbourhood and into response. Once you're in response, you'll undergo a 10-day probation. Whilst you're in that 10-day probation, you'll have to get your civilian training. Once you've got your civilian training and you finish your probation, you'll then be able to go on to onward training paths. So you'll be able to do your IPP, you'll then be able to progress into your advanced, taser, so on and so forth. And then eventually, like Pope, obviously you might end up in either one of our Central Firearms Unit, in either as a firearms officer or as a dog handler. You might end up in Central Motorway Policing Group as a traffic officer. Or you might decide that you want to stick in the path of response and go that way and be a trainer, etc., or maybe even climb the rank structure. So there's many different options here at Staffordshire Roleplay. Our age limit is 15, so we don't accept anybody under 15. So when we first opened, we had a relaxed age limit to see how things went. The senior management team inside Staffordshire, alongside the people services team, we've decided that the most appropriate age is 15. So if you're 14 and 6 months, 14 and 8 months, you won't get in. We have a strict age limit of 15 and we don't compromise that in any way, shape or form. So obviously if you are applying and you're not 15, you are going to get rejected straight away by our people services team. There won't be there is no leeway for that, unfortunately. So that's a little bit about obviously the department, a little bit about the community. The community was founded at the end of August this year, I believe, end of July, sorry. It was founded at the end of July 2019 by its current senior management team, or Chief Constable, Deputy Chief Constable, which is myself and DCC Stone. We then had temporary ACC for about 6 weeks, and that was M. Smith. He's now progressed on to be our emergency policing lead and a full-time ACC, and then we're further supported by ACC Wall, and then 2 superintendents, which is Blakemore and Hijinsky, who look after our tactical support and emergency policing. Going down from that, you've got obviously various department inspectors and sergeants, and then below then you've got the training team and people services, media relations to support all of that. We focus on representing Staffordshire Police, not just Staffordshire Police, but West Midlands Ambulance Service and the Staffordshire Fire and Rescue in the best way possible, in the most positive manner that we can replicate them. We try to keep things to the most professional that we can. Sometimes it doesn't go to plan. Sometimes, you know, things happen. It is GTA. It's a game. But where possible, we try and maintain the highest level of professionalism that we can maintain within the community. Obviously, not just myself, but many of our members, they live or work within the Staffordshire district. Especially some of our fleet developers. I work with 2 fleet devs who, one of them is a member of the fleet services team at Staffordshire Police. We've made, not just myself, but other members of senior management and media communications. We've made other visits out to the various fire stations and various ambulance stations across both Staffordshire Fire and Rescue and the West Midlands. We're currently obviously speaking, and we have, you know, future plans to go and see more of the different hubs for the ambulance service, such as Hart Merritt, as well as going up to HQ for Staffordshire Fire and Rescue, going through to the control room and having a look at how they do things. And it's about obviously engaging with the public and getting them an understanding of what we do, and, you know, it not just being another community out there. We have an end goal here as a senior management team at Staffs, and obviously that's what we're going to continue to work towards while Staffs is open and whilst we're an active community. And that's something that we drill into our members from the start, is we don't want every Tom, Dick and Harry, so to speak, to join the community. We only want the best quality of members. We only want the people who are willing to put the time and the effort into their application, into the training, and they're willing to commit and dedicate to the community. As it currently stands, we're not the biggest clan out there. We have 32 members. All of our members, you know, they maintain a good level of activity. They're respectful and they respect the rules, and that's what we're looking for within our members. We recently, we've lost about 10 members due to, general immaturity, failing to comply to the standards. And I just want to alliterate to those people who are looking to join Staffs. We do have strict standards. There are very strict procedures. We have a lot of internal standard operating procedures and policies that our members are required to follow. So before diving in and jumping in and saying yes, you want to join, make sure you have a good think about what you want to do, and whether being in a very seriously, very dedicated roleplay community is what you're looking for. Currently, the last thing, our recruitment is closed, as we're obviously in the process of completely reworking. We're completely reworking our whole initial training process for our students. We're making the training a lot more transparent, we're making the training a lot more smooth, and we're making the transition from theory to practical a lot better for our students. And we're implementing a variety of other new theory courses. So at the moment, we're adding in an IPP theory course, the IPP theory, the advanced theory, taser theory, to the 3 vital courses that response officers undertake. So that's why recruitment is currently closed. So we're currently taking our time, slowly getting through that, and we're enjoying our downtime, as not only myself but all of the developers and all the command team have worked very hard since we opened. And we have quite a big fleet now. So this is going to be our response policing fleet, or emergency policing fleet. We currently have around 42 vehicles, maybe 45. They're not all presently here. Some of them, they're either damaged, they need fixing from a development perspective. So we are missing a few, and I'll explain along the way any vehicles we are missing. I don't know if we have Josh with us anymore, so we will just crack on anyway. So
yep, I'm still here.
Oh, beautiful. You've disappeared from
Have I?
Yes, you've disappeared from the parking garage. Anyway, so we have.
Yes, I'll be with you very soon.
So we have our advanced vehicles. These are some of our only advanced vehicles currently in the fleet. Within response, you firstly have the BMW F31 advanced response car, alongside the unmarked variant. Obviously the unmarked variant I don't actually believe is operated by Staffordshire Police, however we utilise it for our command team. The inspector and superintendent have the opportunity to drive this as in patrol, so they don't take up the response vehicles, and the advanced response vehicles that our response team use, and it allows them, for their division to operate without their interruption when operational. So those are our, two of our cars. My personal favourite vehicle within the entirety of the response fleet is the BMW F31. It's a really nice addition to the staff's fleet. We do have 2 of these in service. So we have HMO and HMU, which is 2 of the accurate Staffordshire Police vehicles. We've opted to keep 2 in because, they're expensive vehicles and we don't want to be taking things for granted, and we're just giving everybody that opportunity to drive them all the time. Over the next couple of weeks, we're currently working on 4 new advanced response vehicles dating back to some of the older Skodas, the Skoda VRS Saloon and the Skoda Octavia VRS Estates. So we're presently working on those vehicles as well. So that's 2 of our response cars. Then we have obviously some of the most common vehicles that you see in Staffordshire. I'll just take my hat off. These are some of the most common cars you see. These are different years. Once again, very nice vehicles. You've got the 15 plate, the 67 plate and the 66 plate. We are awaiting the arrival of a few more insignias. PC Pope has now returned, so I'll let him do a bit of talking about the insignias, as for a Staffordshire man himself, he loves these vehicles, so I'll let him do the talking.
Thank you very much. Okay, so obviously you can see the Vauxhall insignias in front of you here. So obviously these vehicles, they use day in, day out. They very, very rarely get a rest. And obviously for a number of years now, Staffordshire, we have been using Vauxhall, and they never really have failed us. And obviously when these new insignias came out, we jumped on the bandwagon straight away. And obviously many other forces have as well, simply because they're such a good car. They carry the weight, they carry the stuff we need them to, and they are such a good vehicle for policing, not just for the space, but obviously the availability for emergency equipment to be fitted on them in such a way which they work and they are capable of doing the jobs that we need them to. And overall, you will see obviously these vehicles all over Staffordshire. They're kind of the known vehicle for Staffordshire, if you will. And obviously, I've got a lot of colleagues in response, from very dear friends of mine, and even to this day, even looking back some of the old vehicles, the 15 plate Vauxhall Insignias, even though they're older cars, they still prefer these to some of the other cars in our fleet, because they are such great vehicles, and compared to a lot of the other makes and models, this is probably the one we have the least problems with, because they're so reliable, not just from an operational perspective, but as a car in general. They are a good sturdy car, and they're great for policing.
Beautiful. So that's 3 of our main vehicles. The Insignias, alongside the Astras, are what get allocated operationally from a response perspective more than any other car. So out of like the X1 and the Mark 7 and the 2 Series, which we'll come to shortly, these 5 cars together, these are the most operationally used vehicles that we have. And then we have obviously both the 13 plate and the 15 plate Astra, just different spec models, different setup. This one has got obviously front grille lights, as opposed to the other one. Obviously, once again, they're really reliable vehicles, and they are obviously more commonly used across the force. And then obviously we have our 61 plate Astra, which is our older variant, with not such a nice looking light bar in my opinion. Not so commonly used nowadays, but it's nice to see older vehicles within the fleet, because it does add a nice range and variety to the service. We've got about another 7 or 8 vehicles yet to come for response. From an IRV perspective, we've got Ford Focuses, we've got some more unmarked coming, so yeah, it's good to see a mixture of old and new. So this is obviously one of the newer vehicles in response. This is 19 plate Ford Cougar. It's used to support both response and the rural policing team, and obviously it's just an all-round good vehicle. It's good for getting off-road. So moving on, we have our Skoda Scout. The Scout is this specific car. This is the decommissioned or no longer used collision investigation unit. Obviously, for accuracy purposes, or well, not for accuracy purposes, but for extension purposes, I mean, although the collision investigation Skoda they have in real life has got a different plate, it's JBU, and it's now being used in response, so they've taken off the collision investigation stickers and stuck with that. We've decided to just change the plate so we can have both vehicles in service at any one time. So this is used in the Moorlands area as an instant response vehicle. Obviously I've modified the plate from JBU to JBA to once again allow both vehicles to be in service within the community. So that's the Skoda. Moving on down now to two of our unmarked vehicles from response. So we also have a variety of other unmarked, such as the Mark 7, which we're currently waiting for, but these aren't used as much within response because we prefer to deploy our marked assets and then have our tactical support department, that's CMPG and CMPG traffic and Central Firearms Unit. We prefer them to utilise the unmarked because they can do a lot more with the unmarked than what our response officers can do. So we've got the Vox insignia, the Vauxhall Astra Mark 6 hatchback, and as well as that, like I say, we have the Mark 7, and we have some other vehicles which off the top of my head I can't remember. So moving on, we have one of two BMW X1s, the other one's not here, but we have two of these X1s, one with front grills. So as you can see on this one, we have front grills on this one. The other one doesn't have any front grills. Once again, they're just different years. You don't really commonly see these out neither. I mean, when we are busy, you'll see them out, but obviously on day-to-day operations, we don't really see them very much. A lot of the response officers, they prefer to either go for the 2 Series, the Mark 7, the Insignia, or the Astra estate. So once again, it's a nice vehicle. It's different. It's nice to see, you know, a BMW X1 out, but once again, it's not commonly used. So we're moving on to now some of the newer cars. We have the 17 plate Mark 7. We have the 16 plate 2 Series, and I'm just going to spawn in the Peugeot as we are missing it. This is
I'm not sure where that went, to be honest.
This is one of our newest cars. This is one of our newest cars that we have. We've literally just had this finished, and once again, thanks to the development team for working hard and getting it done. These are some of the newest cars in the Staffordshire response fleet. They are beautiful cars. The Peugeot is also one of my favourite IRVs. So, you know, we've got the BMW, the Peugeot 308, the BMW Astra Mark 7, the BMW 2 Series, which has now disappeared. We then have the appointment cars used by Staffordshire Police. So we have the one with just the logo, and then we have one with the side Battenberg, and then we have our trusty one of our response vans. This will soon be one of 3 vans, so we'll have this one, the Ford Connect, and the 19 plate Transit, which our development team are currently working on. We then also have the 2 Mercedes Sprinters. One of them's a tactical support vehicle, which is in blue, and one is in full Battenberg. One's got Battenberg on, and we use them predominantly on a Friday and Saturday night in the town. It carries a lot of personnel. It allows our officers to get out and, you know, get out in groups and disrupt criminality as and when it occurs. As you can see now, all my vehicles have disappeared, unfortunately. It's just split lobby. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the fleet video there. You've had a quick look at most of the cars. I'm going to leave it here, and what I'm going to say is obviously in the forthcoming weeks, next month or so, when we release 5.0, which I'll be on next pack update, there'll be obviously more cars available for us to look at and to show, and obviously I will leave our Flickr link in the description. You can go and look at all the pictures of all of the cars that we have, that we've put on there. You can also check out our Twitter and our public Discord, which will also be in the description. Obviously you'll be able to look at the fleet further from there and ask any questions that you do have. What's coming over the next few weeks from a development perspective at Staffs? We're currently, this evening, as obviously this video is recorded on the 27th, Friday, this evening, the Friday the 27th, I'm going to go away with my developers and spend about 5 or 6 hours finishing our new response and firearms ped. So obviously our response ped will have a load vest on, and our firearms will have a different load vest as well, to extend our range of peds that we have available. And myself and the devs will be further working on a new Central Motorway Police Group ped. Once again, to just expand the variety. Further coming from that, we've got tactical support peds, plainclothes peds. We have around at the moment probably about 15 vehicles in the making, everything from the ambulance service to the fire service. Some of our bigger projects that we're currently taking on is we're currently reworking or currently modelling the West Midlands spec Fiat Ducato. Is it 67 plate, I think it is, Josh, the one that we've seen?
I believe so, yeah. We did spend a lot of time, as obviously Ashley has said, myself and other members of the media team. Sorry for putting Ashley. But the amount of work that does go on behind the scenes, actually going out to these places, getting pictures of these vehicles in real life, as well as getting pictures inside and getting pictures of the actual equipment which is used, to those our developers really to create the best they possibly can, with as much detail as possible. And it really is amazing that we've been given these opportunities, and we're able to kind of to bring the best models and realism to the community as possible, for the members and obviously everyone who.
And everybody who's in the community, I think what Josh was saying there. So yeah, we're currently working on the 67 plate, I think it's Fiat Ducato that we've seen at one of the ambulance stations. We're currently working on the new Rosenbauer pump that Staffordshire Fire and Rescue used, so being custom modelled. We spent a lot of time up in Hanley and Longton with the crews there. So yeah, about 10-15 new vehicles that we have coming in the next few weeks, so make sure you keep an eye on our social media. If you do have any questions, like I say, Discord, Twitter, fire away. Other than that, thanks for watching, I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you again.